Hey everyone, Road to Gasparilla Day 3 is here. I'm Coach Kyle of Freedom Running Club, and today's topic is the long run, which in my opinion and the opinion of a lot of distance coaches is the most important run of the week. So it's really important to make sure that as you're trying to hit your goal here at Gasparilla at the end of February, that you really pay some really close attention to how you're constructing your long runs and where you can actually do your long runs to get the most out of them, not only for training purposes, but make sure that you're not, losing your mind with something quite as long as you might need to for some of these longer races. So Gasparilla, again, is in February, the 21st and the 22nd. Two main types of long runs that you're going to want to potentially look at. You've got your conversational, easy pace long runs, and then you've got long run workouts, which are going to have some pace built in there, probably at race pace or maybe a little bit faster, depending on what it is your actual goals are for your long run. So for, say, the 5K and the 8K, you're probably not going to be doing a lot of pace work in your long run. This is just meant to kind of, bring out your aerobic system, extend things out with general aerobic work. You're not really going to be getting a lot of benefit out of it. And your mileage for 5K, 8K training is going to be relatively low anyway. So you're just going to be getting some easy miles there and saving the intensity for your workout days for the most part. For your half marathon, 15K, you're going to be doing probably most likely recommendation would be more easy long runs, but there's going to be reasons why you'd want to go in. And every once in a while, depending on your training block, what your program looks like, some specific times where you're doing some pace work in it. So for your 15K, you're probably going to try to put a few miles in there at tempo. We talked about tempo running last time. So for 15K, that's going to be right at your race pace or lactic threshold. You're not going to be able to do quite so much of this for this race because, again, this is higher intensity. And then for the half marathon, you're probably going to be doing a few more miles on your long run workouts at your specific race pace, which is obviously going to be a little bit less intense than for a 15K. So that's going to be slower than lactic threshold. So that's the general idea. And you want to make sure that you're not doing too much intensity. A lot of times people go a little bit overboard. And I recommend just kind of picking your battles when you're doing this, maybe every 3 or 4 weeks when you have a down week, throwing in a long run workout if you're getting ready for, say, the 15K or the half marathon here at Gasparilla. So a couple other things to note about the long runs. Typically, you want your long runs to be about 20 to 22% for these shorter races like the 5K and the 8K. And then for the longer races, you're probably going to be getting a little bit more out of your long runs in terms of miles per week, something more like 22 to maybe even up to 30, depending on your weekly volume for the half marathon and the 15K. That's the general recommendation for most training. Now, where are you going to be doing these to get the most out of them as you're getting ready for Gasparilla? So a couple really cool places around Tampa Bay that you can do this, and you're seeing some videos of this location, which is my favorite place for long runs, is Flatwoods Park. Some really cool, places where you can see wildlife, like you can see some videos of deer here, some turkeys, a lot of other cool things. I've seen bobcats and a lot of really cool animals there. But the really nice thing is there's going to be water stations every 2 miles there, which is really great, especially it can still get pretty hot in the Tampa Bay area, even in the winter time. Some other really good places where you're going to have available water and bathrooms is Upper Tampa Bay Trail, which is going to be going a little bit more west part of Hillsborough County, if you're familiar with the area. Really great location where you can just get tons and tons of miles. And then you may want to also do some of your long runs in and around Bayshore too. We talked about Bayshore in the second episode here, where we talked about doing tempo runs, especially if you're doing your long run workouts for those 15K and half marathon. You might want to do some of your long runs if possible down on Bayshore, because again, that's where you're going to be doing your race. So you're going to be getting some race specific feel for your long runs. Also, if you do have any questions about, say, your long runs, your tempo runs, something we've talked about in this series, or maybe something we haven't talked about in this series, feel free to shoot us a DM and we will be sure to answer them. Or if you'd rather ask in the comments down below, we will answer them as we see them. We hope you're enjoying this series, and we will be back for day 4, where we're talking about training specifically for the weather that can be kind of unpredictable in Tampa this time of year.